I knew what the calendar invite meant before I opened it. 11 a.m. Organizer, VP of People Operations, not our manager. That's how you know. I opened my desk drawer, took out the USB drive I'd been quietly filling for 8 months, put it in my jacket pocket. Then I walked to the conference room with the same face I wore to every meeting. Dominic Farrell appeared on screen. He wasn't even in the building, and announced that the compliance department was being restructured through intelligent automation, effective immediately. At 11:47, I was sitting in my car in the parking garage, phone to my ear, waiting for the SEC whistleblower tip line to pick up. I wasn't the only one calling. 3 of my former colleagues were doing the same thing, from 3 different cars, in the same garage. Dominic saved $2.3 million firing us. The investigation he triggered has cost him approximately $40 million. And it isn't finished. I had been Hollowick Capital's senior compliance officer for 11 years. My job was simple. Watch the trading desk, flag anything that might draw regulatory attention, and tell Dominic when he was getting close to a line. For most of those years, that relationship worked. Then about 18 months before the restructuring, something changed. Dominic started dismissing my reviews. He brought in a new quant, 26 years old, brilliant, and apparently either unaware of or indifferent to what he was actually building. I flagged it, twice. Then a third time in a formal written memo. The general counsel filed my memo in a folder. Nothing happened. So I started keeping my own records, time-stamped notes, screenshots of trading reports, printed copies of my flagged memos with the non-responses attached. 2 colleagues joined me quietly. By the time Dominic decided to replace us all with an AI monitoring system configured to flag only the risks it was programmed to see, our risks specifically were not in its programming. 8 months of documentation existed outside company servers. He thought he was eliminating a cost center. He was eliminating 6 people who had been building a case. The severance packages included NDAs. I had already spoken with an attorney before signing anything. Her advice was clear. The SEC whistleblower program is protected federal activity. An NDA cannot legally stop you from filing with a regulator. We signed the NDAs. We filed the tips. There is no contradiction in that. 6 submissions arrived at the SEC within 48 hours of our termination. Mine was 43 pages. It included the flagged memos, the trading reports, and a detailed technical explanation of why the subsidiary structure Dominic had built created what I called material reporting ambiguities, inconsistent with regulatory standards. I knew how to write something a regulator could use. 11 years of compliance experience meant I knew exactly which words mattered and exactly where to put them. Then I waited. I did consulting work. I answered my SEC attorney's questions. I did not post anything on LinkedIn. I did not contact the press. I trusted the process I had spent my career enforcing for other people. 14 months later, my attorney called. The investigation had moved to formal inquiry. Subpoenas were being issued. The subpoenas arrived on a Monday morning. Dominic was mid-earnings call with institutional investors when his general counsel walked in and placed a note on the table in front of him. The note said, SEC, formal inquiry, subpoenas. Call me now. Dominic kept talking for 40 more seconds. Then he said he needed to pause the call briefly. He muted himself. He had been told 14 months earlier that there were some whistleblower tips from the former compliance team. His general counsel had recommended hiring outside regulatory counsel immediately. Dominic had said, and this is on record, those people are bitter about being let go. It won't go anywhere. Regulatory counsel is very expensive when you hire them after the subpoenas arrive. The investigation found 3 things. First, the trading structure I had flagged showed patterns consistent with front-running, using the subsidiary as a buffer to obscure the connection. Second, the AI monitoring system had been configured to systematically exclude the specific trading categories under investigation. Third, Dominic's emails to the quant were extremely direct about the connection between the algorithm design and the trading outcomes he wanted. Dominic settled with the SEC, civil penalties, disgorgement of profits, a 5-year bar from serving as an officer or director of any regulated firm. Hollowick hired a new compliance team, a human one, with the authority to flag things without being fired for it. I was forwarded the SEC press release on the day it was issued. I read it at my desk with a coffee that had gone cold. I forwarded it to my 5 former colleagues with one line. For the record. I had options. I could have signed the NDA and moved on, gone to the press, done nothing and told myself it wasn't my problem anymore. I went to the regulator, quietly, with documentation, and I waited 14 months. So here's my question for you tonight. Is patient, documented, institutional revenge more satisfying than the fast kind? Or does the waiting cost something the outcome doesn't fully pay back? And if you had been in my seat, with the USB drive, with the documentation, with everything, what would you have done? Leave it in the comments. I read everyone.